Yeah, two abstracts. So they're kind of related, so it doesn't really, is not too difficult, I think, to talk about both of them. One is about the difference to making gender equality work at a distance, and the other one is what we've learned from looking across different silver departments, Athena's won silver departments holders, and what worked for us. I don't know who knows the Open University. It's quite a different institution. We are the largest university in the UK. We do have fully online distance education. We are a distributed organization in different, UK nations and Ireland as well, and internationally. So you might expect, and loads of you will have experienced, that the challenges are a little bit different. And I think under COVID times, you probably could see, what these might be. So I think one of the most important challenges for us is definitely that we are distributed, and what that means, we have and we are big. We have huge amounts of data. It's unbelievable, and many people talk to this, and thanks for mentioning this in the previous talk. Even for very established, universities who are not as distributed, it's a huge challenge. And imagine that in a context where you're everywhere. The problem we have really is the inconsistency in data. And this really, the aspect of working at the distance obscures workload allocation and the fairness and the perception of fairness in this. It's really quite a massive challenge for us. So in a sense, the distributed and distance nature makes equality work less visible. So you have campuses, you can tell with posters and local activities what you do. We can't. And everyone knows that online media, although you could potentially distribute it everywhere, but who's really looking at it? How do they find out about this? So visibility is, I think, one of our biggest challenges we have at a distance. As I said, we have loads of online channels, and actually really prominent one like OpenLearn, which reaches millions of users, or FutureLearn, we are highly invested as well. But it's understanding what the uptake is, the gender balance. How do you know? I know there are some clever algorithms, I'm sure, but they're not reaching us. So there are quite a few challenges here. So what are the opportunities then? We try really, really hard wherever we can that we have a gender balance in our prospectuses and online channels. And I think we did mention, we did achieve increased visibility in what we do through regular communication channels and making it very broad and wide. But that, as you imagine, is quite time and intensive. Then we also do try, although we are a distance institution and mainly work online, to integrate face-to-face events where we can come together and get to know each other. What really, really helped, that's quite interesting, I don't know, do you still have face-to-face interviews? Do you? I don't know. Yeah? We don't. So all our interviews are online for, jobs, anything. So, again, the visibility thing, but if you have, I think there's an opportunity here as well to have access to jobs in our institution, because we're distributed, we mainly work from home. There's a much greater flexibility in working at the OU, but I think if you make the interview panels, we found gender balance and also in general EDI terms, more inclusive, that really attracts many more diverse staff, and I think that really makes a huge difference for us. As I've just said, flexible working is definitely a huge advantage in our world, and what we should not need to forget in that term is not just attracting diverse staff, but also offering career development that's not just come with us and then we leave you alone, so to say, is that we really follow through and are accountable for career development at a distance, which is really difficult. How do you monitor what people do, what training, how effective it is? How do you know? So it's an opportunity to, as we heard before, peer mentoring. I know it's said it's not consistent maybe, but it does help. It does help if you're distributed and distant university to have really strong peer mentoring schemes that induct you and support you at a distance. Interesting enough, and I've had that in conversation before, making our work a kind of a career pathway. And we do find that this is happening a lot, that you have to find ways to overlap what you do in your discipline and your roles with EDIA work. And I think all of our silver departments have achieved, by following just certain steps, a very great gender balance, and we're quite proud of that. But I do think hybridity is actually our largest challenge. Hybridity is that some staff who might still come to campus have still an advantage, and how do you equal that out? And yeah, it'd be quite interesting to hear your experiences from the last 2 years on that. Right, what is our good practice? Similar to the previous speakers, we have a very challenging trajectory that all our departments have a Athena Swan Award by, I think, 28. We're not 26, 28. Might be 26. And we're getting there. We're actually making steady progress, you can see here. What we found in 3 areas, I talk recruitment and promotions and maternity leave support, that all of our silver departments have good training on unconscious bias or bystander training, not just online, which our university is quite big on because we're distributed, but also making them very interactive workshop types. Selection panels, as I've said before, it's very important that they are diverse and not just in terms of gender. Visibility, I had this theme before, and that really, really works in our recruitment. And trying to engage with a lot of networks, and not just, with your own kind of known networks. And I think I heard that yesterday. That was really interesting to have this seen before, that you broadcast very widely outside of your own networks to attract more diverse staff. So we do think our recruitment process has got fairer. Promotions, just quickly. The appraisal, I mean, everyone is doing it differently, but that it is done regularly, and that everyone has a chance to have someone to talk to and plan their career. And it's quite interesting. I didn't know that this is not a thing. So I always thought that's normal to have a regular appraisal. Yeah, offering mentoring again, so that we encourage women to apply for promotions actively. I think that was consistent, that it's not just you expect them to do it, but it's really active. And helping them in network session and mentoring sessions. The panels, again, is really important for promotions, that they are also balanced, and that you have people who work around EDIA that sit on panels and help inform the decision making. I think moving forward, so that's a good point, it's a more shared leadership. I heard before in some discussions that everyone has a different, strength. And I think it's much more inclusive if you have shared leadership, shared job roles that help you to grow together and offer much more opportunity in shared leadership. So we do have achieved fair promotions. And just finally, I love that slide. That's my daughter when she was 1 year old on my back. I'm very emotional about this one. And it's just to say that support that you receive during maternity leave in order to stay in touch with your networks, to still be able to go to conferences and present your work. Both of my children were proud participants in conferences. I think this was really, really important for us as we are distributed. Nobody really knew best practice, and still is the same case that I talk to becoming mothers, and they're like, I can ask for that. Unbelievable. I can ask, come back after I've been off for 9 months, and I can ask for 2 months research. Are you sure? Yes, you can. So we've done a lot of work in our SIR departments on supporting and building networks around maternity leave before and after. And I think that really worked very well. And that's it. Unbelievable.